Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures, Daily Dose of Nature. Today's topic, a love affair with Kanha National Park, presented by Nat Hab Expedition Leader, Arpita Dutta. I'm your host, Rob Best. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Over to you, Arpita.
Thank you so much, Rob, for the lovely introduction. And thank you so much to the viewers for tuning in today. This is Arpita, and I have been associated with Nat Hab since 2018. And it's been a pleasure all the time. I share my thoughts and about the forest, the animals with all of you. Today, it's very special because I always talk about the park as my first crush. Like if I categorize the love affair, I don't know how many affairs or how many crush, but you know the first crush you have for the first time. So I'll talk about that. And this is, before I start, so this is one of the park we do in our grand India adventure, this Kanha National Park. So let's see. So when we talk about that, the first crush, I think many of you would say, you can write in the comments as well that how do you feel? I think sometimes, you know, when you think about the first crush or when you see them, it's like too many butterflies are like fluttering in the stomach, just like the monarch expedition we do in March with Nat Hab. You see so many. It's the same thing happens when inside your body, and you always love to talk about them, you know, to your friends, families, and the people you know. You sometimes dream about them. Yeah, their face do come in your dreams, and sometimes you might, you know, just stare. Oh, I mean, without saying any word, just to see the face, it makes you happy. And of course, nowadays, social media is pretty high. So for stalking them, social media is a good place, unless and until the profile is blocked. But when I talk about a national park, it's easy because you keep on getting the updates about the national parks and whereabouts in whatever is happening. And of course, even if you are away from much away, you know, the memories you have spent there would keep on coming back. Like, okay, this thing has happened, or maybe the first smile, maybe a little dimple, and all these things are there, you know. So that makes it really special about the first crush when we talk about. So let me tell you where this park is located. So during our Grand India Wildlife Adventure, we covered 3 different parks and 3 different areas, which is in central India, this Kanha National Park and Bandhavgarh. And then we fly to the northeastern part of India, which is in Assam. And there we go to see the greater one-horn rhinos and the elephants. That is the Kaziranga National Park, which is like my home. I am from the eastern side of India, but still I call that my home. You can say that is like my first love if I talk about all the forests in India. I will talk about it in my next webinar. And so here we go. And then when we talk in central India, central India is also called a tiger state because there are many national parks and tiger reserves. And out of that, Kanha is something which, you know, when I just call the name, my heart starts beating, I keep smiling, all these things starts happening. And so the Kanha National Park is in central India, in the central India's highlands. And there are like mountain ranges and a very huge temperature gap sometimes happen. Right now it's getting summer, so that's why I'm sweating a lot. And of course, if we know about the Jungle Book, so Kanha is related with the Jungle Book, the Kipling's Jungle Book. So we know about Bagheera, Balu, and of course Papa Bear. This is I think incredible. We have read the story so much. When we were young, we used to see all the movies, animated movies, or of this about the Jungle Book. But that time we didn't know about a lot about Kanha, but right now we know, and I get to be in that forest. I think that was the best part about it. So how the connection has started. So today it's not about very technical, logical. It's all about, I'll speak from my heart, that why I fell in love with this forest, why it made me to have sleepless nights because just about thinking about it. So in 2011, the first time I visited Kanha as a tourist. And you know what? We were doing safaris. It was okay. I mean, because when we are going in the forest was so beautiful that we never thought that we will get to see a tiger or bigger mammals or leopard or sloth bear, anything. But it's just to enjoy the forest, and did lots and lots of birding and beautiful butterfly habitats, dragonfly habitats. There's so many small creatures which will keep you involved all the time. And but on the last day of safari, I don't know what happened. And of course, in India, there are like every park has its timing, like from morning to afternoon or evening to morning safaris and afternoon safaris. And I remember that we were about to reach the time, like maybe 15-20 minutes were left. And we were the single vehicle in one zone of Kanha. And what happened? I felt something is coming. There were my friends were there with me, and I say that I just asked the driver and the guide that is it possible? Like, can we wait here for another 5 minutes? Something I'm feeling that something is about to happen. And it was a bamboo thicket, all lush green because it was in November, and I could feel that it was an instant connection which was happening that time. And the guide and the driver said, okay, maximum 5 minutes, otherwise we will be late. And that cannot happen. I said, okay, 5 minutes is enough. Just 5 minutes, I want to be here in this exact position. And let me tell you, before the above the bamboo thicket, there was a little hilly, a small mound was there. And in one zone, in the Khatia zone, there is a place called Digdola, and we were standing there, and suddenly I just look up and I saw a head was coming down from that hill, like small mound, and it was the tiger. I swear, see, I'm still having goosebumps. I mean, that connection that I didn't know. There was no alarm call, there were no scent marking, nothing for which I could figure out that something is there. But I don't know why I was feeling that instinct was working, that something is there. And he came out. It was a male tiger, and one of the very famous tiger. You can Google the name. It's called Munna. And it has the marking over the head was written a cat on its forehead. The marking was like that. So he came out, and that was his prime time. And he just walked in front of the vehicle doing scent marking into the bushes. And Munna used to walk like, straight and head high. And it came so close that people who were carrying 600 or 500 zoom lens, they had to put down their camera because it came that close. And we were super excited. The friends who were teasing me that don't worry, there would be a house cat which will come out, they were like stunned. And I was having, like, I was on my ninth cloud, that I don't know how it happened. So here is Munna. I didn't. This is a later picture. but I don't have that picture of the first one. But this is how I got connected with that forest. And here, and then it started. I could never stop going there, and even I have worked there for a few years as a naturalist in one of the lodges. And here, so Kanha is huge. But you know, even if you're alone at one point, this is you see this area like on the other side of the river. That's a core area, and I'm just sitting here, and one of my friend was there. Thankfully, he took the picture, and you never feel alone. I mean, you are so much occupied with everything, and especially I think the silence when there is nothing happening, like all the vehicle noise or other people, just the silence. It is like engraving your mind, and so many things are getting in. You are just grabbing things from there. And whether in Kanha, no matter whenever I walk or drive or just sitting quiet, you know, that always brought up to something or the other. It never happened that I am not feeling okay right now, I can go back to my room. It never happened, neither even at night. I used to sit in my balcony and watch stars. So how is the forest? It's a highland with deciduous forest. It is a mixed deciduous forest and dominated by the sal tree. Sal is huge, like a straight trunk tree, and has a very hard wood in between. And you know what, sal, where there are maximum numbers of sal, you know that is a bioindicator as well, because sal cannot grow where there is pollution. So that way you can see that it is dominated by sal forest, and it has huge meadows. Even there is a saying that if you are going by a flight or you're flying, there is a zone in Kanha called Sari. Sorry, it has so big meadow that from above you see a heart. The shape of the meadow is like a heart. So you see actually in the heart of central India in Kanha, in one of the zone in Kanha, and it's a huge park. It's around 1,067 square kilometer, 412 square miles, and the elevation can reach from 390 to 900 meter. Imagine, from that 900 meter above, you actually see the whole forest. Though it is out of the tourism zone, but we go to a very undulating, a different terrain we cover. A lot of water bodies, rivers are there. So before I talk about this, I mean, I can keep on talking about Kanha, and I don't know where exactly I need to stop. So I figured out that I go by the season in Kanha, which I would like to start in winter, because most of the time we do our trips, the Nat Hab trips during winter. So once you are in Kanha, you will see the winter morning is misty. The water bodies, the water vapor would rise, and there are frost on the grasses. I mean, that's the beautiful part of it. It's cold, but the beauty is abundance there, and especially after the sunrise, the dappling sunlight, you know, because of the sal forest, the thick sal forest, the sun rays come through it's like penetrating the forest, and it shines all over. It gives you so much freshness and happiness just by looking at that. And you know, in the meadows above, you have those sun rays. It's like the light from heaven. I don't know. I don't have the exact words, or I cannot express how do I feel that time. But I make sure that what I see, I would love to show you in that way. And after a little, like when it gets a little warmer, things get more calm and quiet. And after the monsoon, it's the winter time, so it's all fresh. green and, you know, new leaves and stuff, and so much chirping of birds. And you see lots of eagles around, beautiful colorful birds around. And and, and it's a beautiful scenario altogether, you know. I mean, you don't miss out a single moment that you cannot have your jaw drop. Like, it's always a wow factor in this park. And in the even in the afternoon, when the temperature, you know, cools down, it seems like the park is also slowing down. It's become subtle, and you know, the animals are still moving, and you are like so much obliged by the beauty of this park that is unmatched. Here is the Banja River. And most of the time, I used to, when I was working there at Kanha, I used to sit on these rocky areas. These are all the volcanic rocks out here. And I used to sit there and enjoy the sun, enjoy the river, the sound of the flowing water. And yes, that was the best time I had. Like, just walk around the river, and you feel that there are no hassle, there is no pain, and nothing in this world matters apart from this happiness what you actually get from this park. And here I'll tell a story that there's so many connections. You know, this is one of my favorite tree in Kanha, in the zone of Mukki. Most of the time we go there, and this this is a fig tree, which is also called the queen of trees. And every time in the morning, when the sun rises, you know, that's the rays of the sun come through. And if you see, here is a small stone. And I always used to think that any animal would have been good, or I would like to sit right there and want to feel that huge shade. And you know, the banyan tree was, because of its roots and this thing, you always feel that that's a you know, somebody who is giving you an umbrella, like a shade of everything, the care, the confidence, the guidance. You feel like that. It's very spiritual thing what happens over here. But one afternoon, what happened, I was just passing, and the sun, trust me, I just made a little bit to make this picture prominent, but it was golden. Everything was like covered with gold. And the langur, instead of me, I could find the langur out there. And okay, I was happy. But I think that was a moment that I could never wipe away from my mind. uh, that beauty, that it seems like every root and every leaves were painted in gold. And I could stop there for, like, I would have, but because it's a timing, I stopped there for 15-20 minutes just to see how it feels. And it seems like you are connecting with the, you know, with Mother Nature in a spiritual way. And here, of course, once I was taking a picture, the same, the dappling light and everything, I was just taking a landscape picture. And through the lens, I was thinking, oh God, please, maybe a stag would have been good. I mean, just in the middle of the road, that would have been complete the frame. And trust me, I didn't even see the tiger. Through the lens, I could see that something is moving in front, and through the lens, I saw the tiger. I mean, I just had the thought that any animal would have been amazing to be in that spotlight. And there the tiger comes. I think that was, you know, when you think of something and you get that, I think your soul get enriched. So exactly that what has happened that day. And this is how the winter morning looks. You see, the dragonflies are covered with, it was covered with frost, and it is just holding that small twig and basking, just waiting for those frost and water droplets to dry off so that it can fly back. And this is how the small frost, little like tiny droplets turn into frost, and all the grassland looks like this. The same thing happened with the spider web. You know, that's they turn into they have small droplets of water, and it's like you see the diamonds are glittering because when the sunshine falls on it, they glitters. I think small tiny things also keep you attached, keep you attracted to the forest. And after the winter, it's the summer approaches, but I don't have so many pictures. But when the summer approaches, the whole forest color changes. I mean, this is exactly how the summer picture look, but there is a transition. I was just discussing with Rob that there are so many shades of color. Like you see yellows, shades of yellow, orange, red, green, brown. It's just marvelous. From a distance, it seems like somebody has painted so many colors. I mean, whatever we can think of, we see the shades over there. The summers are pretty dry, because it has the semi-deciduous and the mixed forest, so few patch of the forest is still looks green, so you have the shade and also the warmth of there. And the red tree over here, this is one of my favorite tree. It's called kusum in the local language, the Slicheria oleosa. And this turn, when it is about, the leaves are about to fall, they turn yellow in color and then orange, and then they fall off. But when the new leaves come, they turn red. They are brightly red in color and slowly turn into that yellowish and orange, and then turn into green. And it's a huge tree. I mean, you can have a splendid time under its shade. And in summer, it's really warm up a lot. The temperature goes up to 42 to 44 degrees centigrade. So it's really hot, but it's not humid. So it's quite comfortable because inside the forest you feel that air keeps on, the breeze is there. And in the summer, what happened, even the animals, they come out near the water holes, so you just go, you stand, you be quiet and just wait for the moment of explosion of so many wildlife viewing. And yeah, it's because of the dryness. I think the forest looks pretty different, but of course every season has its own beauty out there. And another thing in central India, one special thing is there, which is called mahua. That's a flower. And if you have known about the marula, which is in Africa, that animals eat it and they get intoxicated, the same thing happened with this flower. When the mahua blooms, so this is the time when it blooms. And trust me, I am also right now at one of the central India's park, a little away from Kanha, and almost every day I'm having good number of mahua flowers in the morning, but thankfully not getting intoxicated like the other animals. So you will see the langurs, most of the time they are on the mahua tree having this mahua flower, because they are very, very sweet. When they ripe, they are very sweet, and they drop off. And over here, people collect those mahuas and they make a local liquor, which is also fabulous. You make amazing mahua martini. Okay, whenever you would come here, join us here, and we will, for sure, any of us can treat you with this mahua. And here, and they also dry them to make vegetable curry out of mahua. But once they get dried up, there is no intoxication, so people are happy. But most of the time you will see the local, in the evening their steps are trembling, then you know that okay, this is the mahua effect. The same goes with the langurs, the sloth bear, spotted deer. They all are intoxicated, and it's so amazing to see them. Just looking at them can give you so much of entertainment. That they're sitting on the road, it seems like they don't have anybody around them. They are like falling off, they are dozing, and it's just incredible. So Mahua is also makes, I think, this park and the other areas very special. And as the summer comes, this white tree is called the ghost tree, or called the Indian gum tree. This is one of my favorite tree, because this tree can change its color of the bark almost 3 to 4 times in a year. They turn orange, pink, yellowish, and this white during winter, and all the leaves fall off. And because it's called ghost tree, because it's a dense forest, and this white bark actually illuminate. It seems like it illuminating in the moonlit night. So the locals say that there must be the spirits who actually comes into this tree. Kind of stories are like that, but it's looks beautiful in this huge patch, or in this dark patch. And this is one of my favorite spider, which is called ornate tree trunk spider. Just look at it. The body is looks like a coral, and the trees, when you find out that every animals are trying to shade, take a shade under the tree. All the crevices and everything, all smaller insects and stuff, you find out everywhere. And this is exactly how we found it. It is in a fissure of a small of a big arjun tree. So, and even if, see, once the water puddles and everything dried up, the land almost become like this. And just see it maybe it has cracks, but still it looks amazing. Like, you know that how the seasons are changing, but every season has a touch of their own beauty. And next comes the monsoon. After the scorching summer, it's a relief to see those trembling clouds, the murmuration of the clouds, and you see those grays and blacks and white, and sometimes you see those thundering, the lightning. It makes you happy. Okay, some fresh, the first drop of rain and the petrichor. I think it sometimes makes you feel not only the people, but for the whole area, all the animals, all the human being, the trees and the plants. It's the beginning of new life, it seems. And here the monsoon mornings are also looks little misty, because there are clouds which are going in, and you just go through the track with your vehicle, and you feel that softness, or that green, which gives you so much of that tinge of greens out there, that gives you that fresh, that yes, this is another way of a start. And this is the Banja River I showed you. This is how it looks like. So generally most of the time I used to sit on those rocks and wait, but this time it is difficult, so had to stay away and just to enjoy the beauty of this river. So Banjar is the river, and from this river there are a few rivulets which reaches out to the forest, and that's how the animals are thriving in this forest. And this river during monsoon goes so high that it looks like a small, it doesn't seem like this river can have all those stones. All the stones go underwater. And I love this caramel river, caramel Banja River. And you just sometimes smell and everything, it seems like you can actually lick a bit. Maybe it tastes good as well. Actually, I did, when I was very young. Maybe I was just 3 or 4 years old. The first rain for the first rain, and that smell, the petrichor smell, I found that it's very tempting. So actually I took a lump of soil and I put it in my mouth. I got really bad scold from my mother, that this is not your food, but this is how you feel. And even in this rain, there are lots of water in different areas, but still, because the animals are used to come near the river, they keeps on coming back. So just sitting on the side of the river, because the park is closed that time during monsoon, all the central India's parks are closed, and but still the visibility of the animal and the feel that you are never missing. You get to see the otters as well, in small puddles. They are moving, doing fishing. So it's always engaged. You always feel engaged. And this is not my picture, but I have to use it because the first rain. We have a tree in Kanha, and we all friends and out there people, we used to sit there in the evening, because trust me, the tree looks almost like this. I mean, there are millions of fireflies, and it seems like the tree is glowing. There are particular trees where these fireflies come every year. So we used to sit and used to listen to the forest and used to see the fireflies like this, and it's everywhere. And I think nowadays, because of this global warming, climate change, habitat destruction, we hardly get to see fireflies. But whenever we come to this area during that particular time, I think this is a moment of lightning around you, and you feel so happy. Sometimes they sit on you, like few, not only one, like maybe 20, 30 fireflies would be hovering around you. They will sit on you, and sometimes they do mating as well on your shoulder. That actually happened. So I think that makes this place very special. And then after a little, like after a month or two, um, when it is about to open, the park is about to open, the mud which makes that river look caramelized, the mud settle down, and then you have this fresh water and the sound of water. I think that is whenever you are tired, every day you're walking from morning to night, you are doing safaris back to back, but there is a moment, maybe for a minute, when you just sit in front of that water, the sound, the freshness, river, and that stress of your whole day, it just wipe it away. Every tree. So we and our friends, we used to climb in that tree, and we used to sit right over here, and we just sit quietly. We keep on chatting, looking birds, but everything, but still this tree is there. It's been so many years. Whenever I go back, I see this tree and I feel like, yeah, there it is. There is the place. So we used to hang around. This is our kind of small hanging point where we used to just have our good times. And the special part about the monsoon makes so much fresh things, the lichens, the fungus, and there are colorful fungus and the lichens which comes up. So you see things like minute things maybe, but still it add on so much of color in the forest floor, and it's just seamlessly, it is so beautiful. So once we go back, once we talk about so much of the forest, of course, animal is a huge part of it. And Kanha is so big, and you see so many animals out there that it's difficult to cover everything. But I'm just covering the mammal part because I cannot even touch the bird because it's huge in number in this park. And so here are the langurs. why I kept this, because I think they are the most entertaining animals what you get to see. Their behavior, the infants, when there are so many infants together, it's like a pre-nursery or a primary school, and children are running here and there, they are jumping off, they are learning to hang yeah, with a twig, or sometimes they hold on to their parents or to the members in the troop, the tail, and they used to swing like this. So it's always, and of course the curious eyes, like, okay, what are you doing, why you are here, and so many things you get to feel that they're asking questions. And sometimes it is very, when it becomes very annoying, they will just turn back towards you, or sometimes they climb up. And you know, they are so naughty that we never used to stop our vehicle right below where there are langurs above, because they start peeing, so that you go out from there. But sometimes, but it, most of the time we stay away and just to see that what they do. We have beautiful barasingha. So this is the hard ground swamp deer, and Kanha is the only place right now where you get to see this deer and nowhere else. Recently, there was a relocation program happened. So the park I am right now, a few barasingha had been relocated over here because of the similar habitat, but still it is not in the tourism zone. So this barasingha, this is also the ambassador of Kanha National Park, and they have been given the name Bhoor Singh. Bhoor Singh, we sing is, we always talk about a very muscular person with a big mustache, with a round mustache like that. So anyway, I don't know where is the mustache, but it's called the Bhoor Singh, and it's beautiful golden in color, and you will see them in water, you know, feeding on the water vegetation, and it has beautiful antlers. And yes, they live in a herd, and that is also, and they also have the ratting call. And sorry, I cannot do it so nicely, but they do that. So you get to admire and you get to witness this deer where you don't get the chance to see it anywhere else in the world. And then the spotted deer. Maybe it is little common in most of the parks in India, but still, I think it is most one of the most beautiful deer because of the spots. And the female doesn't have the antler, the male does grow it. And every year you will find, like near in October, November, you will have small fawns running around here and there, and they are one of the, I mean, this having a spotted deer into a park, it's really good because they are the staple food for the carnivores as well. And I love their eyes. They are expressive. And of course, I also adore this spotted deer, langur, and another deer, sambar, because they are the one who let us know that there is a predator around because of their calls, because of the distress call they make. And here comes the sambar. It's one of the Asia's largest deer. And this is a female. The male grow antler and they fall off as well. And sambar is very special in any of the forests because this is a broadleaf area, I mean, habitat they live in, and they are solitary. Mostly you will get to see the female and the fawns together, but the male generally walk alone, and they kind of give a poking call. And we take it very seriously because when a sambar is calling, we know that the predator is there for sure, because a sambar gives call most of the time when they see the predator. So that becomes that made us very sure about the presence of the predator. And this is, I always say that if you have ever heard my webinar before, I always say that more than calling it a gaur, which is the largest cattle in the bovidian family, I always say them that they are the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the park because of their tremendous build of muscles. huge. They are huge. They can grow up to 1800 kilos. Imagine that massive they are. And here comes one of my favorite bear out of the 4 bears in India. That's the sloth bear. And they have the longest tail, among all the bears in the world. And also they piggyback their cubs. So this is a good time to see the cubs around, and it's amazing. Like the mother would be walking, teaching them that how to dig up all the termite mounds because that is their staple food, and the cubs would learn that. But anytime they feel that something is there or the mother has moved little far, they will just hop like a, I would say a huge pom pom ball. A black pom pom ball is moving in the field. That is how they look. So it will climb on the mother's back and keep moving. So here is another thing, just like the wild dogs in Africa, we have the Indian wild dog, which are also known as dhole. It has a brick red color, but their numbers are reducing day by day um, because nowadays we don't get to see large packs like what we used to see before. At least 10-15 years back, they were like pack of 10-12, but right now we hardly get to see a pair, or maximum maybe 3 or 4 together. So they are the same thing. They do communicate by whistling, and of course they have the strategy. They use the strategy as well. They can hunt down a gaur calf as well sometimes. And of course, where there is a pack of wild dog, you get to feel the restlessness among the other prey-based animals. So that's how you know the attention that okay, something is there around. And many times it happened that we come across a wild dog, and especially they move on hunting when they are about to give birth. So they have small dens, and yeah, in this forest they are thriving for such a long time, but unfortunately the number is reducing. But yes, but we still have a chance to get to see them, rather than they are rarer than the tiger. If you get to see one, that would be amazing. And of course, the one of the most elusive cat, which is a leopard. They are very, very agile. They have amazing adaptability, but they are very, very vulnerable because of habitat loss. Nowadays we get to see there are forest patches near the cities, but they're coming to the cities in nearby areas because of their adaptability, but still they are vulnerable because there are so many man-animal conflict keeps on happening. But in Kanha, of course, in forest you see them in a different way, and this is also pretty rare. If you get to see one leopard in this kind of forest, that would be like you should be very lucky about it. Because and when there is a leopard, these langurs give a different types of alarm calls, so that you when we are going through, you know that there is a presence of a leopard, because leopard can climb trees. So the langurs get more scared when instead of a tiger when there is a leopard. And here, of course, we cannot miss out this. When you see the stripes, the yellow, orange, the white thing among the bush, you know that's our big cat out here. Kanha is a very good forest to come across, but yes, it's not like every time, every day, every safari you get to see, but the chances are there to come across a tiger, one of the big cat in the world. And of course, when a tiger walks, it's majestic. There are so many memories attached to it. The sighting of the tiger, or the stories whichever is happening. That I think that makes every forest, every part of the forest memorable for you. And here is the forest camp, though, but I always wanted to have a small hut out there. Maybe one if they would have given me one of the hut, that would have been amazing to stay there. Just is so serene, so quiet. Maybe no internet connection, no electricity, but still there is always a place in my heart that I would love to stay there for months. You know, this is the camp where we stayed for a while during a survey work out there. But I think that made me feel that okay, I don't need big skyscrapers or big building or so many things. This can make my life completely sorted. And the safaris in Kanha is so special because the morning till the time you are out, there is not a moment that you are sitting idle because so many things are happening, starting from the trees to the dragonflies, starting from the big cat to the smallest cat in the world, which is a rusty spotted cat you get to see there sometime. And so, and you know, when I see it, if I start showing that, that whatever I'm seeing, I think I even see sometimes that there are beautiful leaf and the sunlight or the skeletonizer moth has eaten a lot of the part, leaving the skeleton, the venation of the leaf. Even that looks amazing. You know that why and how this thing has happened. So that makes every safari so perfect. And there are always a movement, always a momentum in the safaris what you do in Kanha. And here is how things happen. Imagine in this particular trip, we got to witness the big cat, but it's not that. The stories which were happening, we were there for more than 45 minutes, just standing. The call started coming from one side. We said, okay, this is where the track, this is what the path the tiger follows. We were waiting again. Somewhere from somewhere else the call came, the langurs making an alarm call. We said, okay, the tiger must have moved there, but still we said, okay, let's stay here because the alarm call started moving. So you know how the predator is moving just by listening to them. And slowly, and we have been looking for it, and suddenly behind the bush it just came out. You can see the position. They were all standing in front, that thinking that the tiger might be crossing the road from that bush, but it just came on the side of the vehicle. And I think the whole story behind it, the weight, you know, the patience we had to show, I think that was an incredible ending out there. And of course, because I have worked in Kanha for quite a few years, I think I got even attached with the people, with the tribes. There are two tribes mostly you get to see, is the Bega and Gond. They are the tribal people. They have their own way of living. They have their style of getting, or their personal way of communicating with the forest is just outstanding. You listen to the stories from like first hand stories. You listen that how they have been inside the forest. A lot of relocation thing has happened, but they talk about when they used to live inside the forest and they used to face tiger, leopard and other animals just nearby, just outside their home. And yes, talking to this, they always dwell in and around the forest. Every time they worship, they don't have an idol. They worship the nature. They worship trees. They worship river. They even worship stones which are like placed around the river. So everything which bind them is with nature. And I think that's how, when you all will come, you will get to see them, and there you will get to know a lot more stories from around. I mean, from us or from the guides or the people around you. And yes, while working, it's the best part is like talking to the children about what they know, what they have seen, and how they want to be, what they need, whether it's toffee or they need books. So I was just talking to them that how they're seeing, how many people, how many siblings they have. So taking a general idea about it. I think all this attachment, going to their schools. They have like government schools, but they are not in a very good condition. But when you go them, when you see the smile on their face, I think that is something, that is much more precious. When they sit with you, when they hold you, when they laugh with you and just ask you, can you tell us a story? And of course, we are always ready to tell a story, that whatever is happening around. I think that's make it very special. And while staying in Kanha, I think the pack of my friend, I call them my pack. So now they have become a lifelong friends, and it's like a family. It's no matter whenever I'm visiting Kanha, it's always feel that I am coming back to them, and they make my stay so special that whenever I am taking you all to the forest, I think that the happiness what I have inside, that just burst out. So showing that Kanha to you, I think I would love to do that. Not only me, I think every expedition leader who are working here would have the same feeling with each and every forest they are working in. But I can assure you that I could not put a lot of picture like the bright sky, the shooting stars, what we used to see at night, just lying down and at the deck, and you just watch. But I can assure you, once you come here, I can show you Kanha in a different way. But it's not only the forest, it's about every inch of the forest makes or tells so many stories. And yes, other than not only the people and everybody, but the Kanha forest is one of the like the department wise, the forest department, the government, one of the best manageable and administrative park we have in central India. The forest officials, the guard which patrols all day long, it's just they're doing so much of hard work to see whether there are any mishaps are happening in and around the forest, and keep us communicating with us. And we go give them training, and they talk about conservation. I think it is a big example for a lot of things which we need to do for many of the forests in all over the world rather. And yes, this is my group, and I would say thank you so much for listening to me. I don't know what did I miss out. Actually, I missed out a lot of things, but to know that what I have missed out, you all need to come down here once in our Grand India Wildlife Adventure. I think they're showing you something, just not in the webinar. I'll take you out in the forest, in the vehicle, in a 4x4 jeep, in those dusty tracks, in those misty meadows. I think that would what I would like to show you. And thank you so much. Any questions? I'm ready to take. Rob?
All right, Arpita, thank you. Now, before we start the question and answer session, I would like to remind everyone that you can submit questions via the question field in the control panel. Okay, let's get to some of those questions. So first of all, one of our guests notes that your passion for the parks is just so infectious, it makes us all want to come on the trip. So thank you for that. Can you
Please
talk about?
do. I'm waiting.
I'm not the only one who feels that way. We all do. So can you talk about how many parks will be visited on the 2-week trip?
Yeah, we visit 3 parks. Few of the largest park, which is Bandhavgarh, Kanha, and Kaziranga. Bandhavgarh and Kanha are in central India, and Kaziranga National Park, which is located in northeast side of India.
Now, has the Grand India Wildlife Adventure trip been affected or changed because of the pandemic?
Oh yes, thank you so much. I mean, thank you so much for this question. I think for this, because Nat Hab does this conservation tourism, I always say it's very thankful, because the lodges we go, are the ecotourism, and the people out there are 75 to 80% people are the locals who are from the tribe in those areas. So when we are going, when they are involving, it's like they are getting a sustainable livelihood from this. And not only that, when any trips are happening, that revenue goes to the forest to take care of the departmental uses or the administrative part for the national parks. So that makes a lot of difference. Even when you all are coming, the people are seeing that people are coming, they are appreciating the forest, the awareness what they have, the locals grow much bigger, because all the forest guides who are there are local as well. The drivers are local. So imagine how much local population are getting their livelihood, their salaries out of all this tourism aspects. So of course it does in a fantastic way.
Thank you for addressing that. So let's talk about winter time. How low does the temperatures get there in the winter, and does it
Ah.
keep the bugs away?
So the temperature falls to around 3 to 4 degree centigrade. So the temperature varies from, I would say, 30 to 120-degree Fahrenheit, sometime less or above.
Nice. And what can you see the fireflies in the winter time, or is that a spring or summer?
No, not during the winter. Winter you see them. I won't say you see them, but less in number. But during after the first rain, like in the summer, when the summer is ending, and the first rain when you get, then you see the fireflies like that.
Great.
But you see fireflies almost all the way all the year round. But that particular time is when I still imagine like the whole tree illuminates with this green light.
It sounds amazing. It really is. So can you tell me, when the animals eat the mahua, become intoxicated, do predators take advantage of them in that situation?
Sometimes I would say the langurs, when they are on the ground, yeah, they are vulnerable. But most of the time, we haven't come across that while having mahua, they get killed by tiger, because tigers are ambush predator. And in the mahua tree and stuff, so most of the time they stay above the tree. For the deer and stuff, yes, sometimes they do. They are very much open, they're very much for the predator that time.
So is there a best time of year to see a tiger on the trip, or do you think we could see the tiger?
So it's I think is the forest is their home, so they're always there. But I would always say that all the time are good to see the animals. There is no bad time, but I always say that there are some beautiful sightings and good sightings happen. So in winter you really have beautiful sightings. I mean, that green forest and seeing the tiger is amazing. But if we do like 4 to 5 safaris, there are likely a chance that you at least you might get to see a tiger once during winter. In summer, they most of the time sits in the pool, the water holes. So the chances grow little like higher, but both the times are really good.
I see. So in your picture that you have on the screen right now, there's a building that your group is in front of. What is that building?
Oh, that's where we have stayed that time. Like in that year, I think it's into 2020, before we got hit by the COVID. So this is in Kanha. There is a lodge called Singinava. We have stayed in that lodge in that year.
I see. Well, thank you for that. And I'd like to thank you, but that's the last question that we do have time for today. So if you have any closing comments, I'd like to hand it back to you now.
Thank you so much, Rob, and thank you so much for stay tuned till now. I have been like just talking about what I know, but trust me, and I'm just hoping that once you book our trip, I'm sure you will see more, and I'm sure you are not going to go back single-handed or empty-handed. It's gonna, you will go back with so much of memories, and of course so much of love that will be always there. Thank you so much and have a great day, all of you.
Thank you, Arpita. Thank you for taking the time to present for us today. And I'd like to also thank everyone who tuned in today. Now, if you're interested in information on how you can travel with Nat Hab, give us a call at the number on your screen or send us an email at info@nathab.com. Our adventure specialists are happy to help you out. Join us tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Nature. You can check out this week's lineup, including registration links, on our website at nathab.com/webinars, or send us an email at webinars@nathab.com. We can direct you to the correct page. We did record today's presentation, and we will have the replay available on our website soon. With that, I will conclude today's webinar. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time.